Hello everyone, I'm Alistair and welcome to the Timberborn. Today I'm going to show you how to survive your first drought. We are playing as a Folktales. If you are playing this game for a very first time, you don't have any other option. You need to play as a Folktale first until you unlock the Iron Teeth, the other like a faction. But I will show you for both factions how to survive. It's almost identical. I would say even it is pretty identical. So first things first, you should pause your game before you even start doing anything, because things can go really bad, especially if you are playing on a harder difficulties. This I'm playing on normal, so let's expand the roads. We don't have any logs, as you can see. So first thing that we need to do is mark trees for cutting. You can find that down here in cut trees. Mark tree cutting area, and you just click and drag. Let's move our road, build our road a little bit closer to the forests, and a few lumberjack flags. These does not cost anything, they just need to be built by our builders, but it doesn't require any resources at all. And you can see up here that we have 6 unemployed beavers, and we have currently 2 builders here in our district center. So they are going to build our lumberjack flags. Lumberjack flags are done, and automatically 2 free beavers will start working in them. And since we already marked our trees for cutting, they will start chopping down trees and delivering the logs. Delivering the logs to their lumberjack flags. When they have their internal storage filled up, which is 20 I believe for the logs, for the lumberjack flags, they can start delivering that to a large pile or a small pile that you can designate for the logs. But we don't need that yet. So we will have logs. The next very important thing is to have a water pump, because the first drought will come in a couple of days, but we really need water because our beavers will kinda die very quickly without water. So next thing is water pump, and put it down. We can do even 2, but I think 1 will be enough. But let's have 2 water pumps. As soon as our builders have some logs, they can start working on this. We can build even more lumberjacks to speed things up. We can always pause the buildings. You can even use these assign priorities to set these lumberjacks for highest priority, so it is built first before anything else. So now we have 4 lumberjacks, so we should have enough logs very soon. And since this is the start of the colony, you can even increase up here the working hours for our beavers. Currently they are working 16 hours, that's already a long time, but let's go to like 20 hours, because this is a really critical phase of our colony. We need to get these buildings done. Otherwise, we are done with our colony. We will die. And for our water pumps, they will be pumping water from the river. We need somewhere to store that water, so let's build some small tanks. We don't need that many right away, so let's have like 2. And you see, there is already Kakna or water Kachna pumping the water for us. And when you put down any storage or small water tank or whatever, you need to click on it and select what you want to store here. For us, this will be water. We have still 1 unemployed beaver. That one will be working in a second pump. This way we can pump way more water than if we only had 1 water pump. So this is like the very basic setup. Here these berry bushes are really important from the beginning, not for the later stages, at least not for the folktales. For those we need a gatherer flag. Gathers resources from wild plants, and you can see the radius, that blue outline, how far it can reach. So we need to build it close by to those bushes. We need only 1. Our beavers are currently sleeping outside on the streets because we don't have any housing, but that's not really that important to have it right now. First, we need water, we need food, we need logs. Everything else is secondary. So let's build that gatherer's flag. That is our very basic food. And the next thing that we really need is our first farm. Even if you don't have enough beavers to employ, you can keep running this farm with like just one beaver. But you need it. Let's put it down here. Don't build it on irrigated land, especially from the beginning, as this is really important area and you can't expand it right now. So it is important to not build too much on it. So we have more land for growing food. Maybe not right now from the start, but then later you will need to delete those buildings and move them around. So for now, we will be growing only carrots, as they don't require any processing at all. Let's have 2 fields like this. After these water tanks and a gather flag is done, they will build the efficient farmhouse, where we will employ just 1 beaver. That will be enough. You see, our water tanks are being filled up. Our well-being went down a little bit. Yes, shelter. We will address that soon. Since this gather flag was built already, let's pause 2 of our lumberjacks. And now we have 2 farmers. Maybe we can deal with only 1, but let's have for a while 2 farmers so they can plant much quicker. So we have 2 lumberjacks, 1 gather flag, and 2 pumps. And these small tanks are being filled up completely. So maybe we can pause one of the pumps. You just click on it and press P on your keyboard. You can pause that, or up here. You pause that. And we have 1 unemployed, which we can send that 1 beaver somewhere else. The next very important thing is to get our logs. For now, we have all these trees, but we will chop them down very quickly, including these dead trees up here. You can chop those too. They will not yield that much wood, but it is still a really good idea to chop them down and do not destroy them, especially when you are short on logs or from the beginning, like this one. To grow our own trees, we first need a forester. And for a forester, we need a science. So we need to build an inventor. Or multiple inventors. And then having a build a lumber mill and other stuff. But first, let's build an inventor first. And since our population will not grow until we build houses, because folktales need houses to reproduce, we should build at least, we have currently 12 beavers. Each of these lodges can hold 3 inhabitants, so we need 3, 6, 9, 12, just to accommodate our current population, and add 1 more to grow 3 more beavers. Let's speed this up. And there will be soon first drought. So maybe let's spend a few more logs and build for us 2 new tanks for water. I'm going a little bit slower than usual for this. Maybe we should have already started building the dam here. It is the most primitive dam. You can't regulate its height, but it will hold a little bit of water for us. For the first dam, try to find the shortest amount. You see, here it is 10 blocks that needs to be built. Here it is 10. Here it is 9. You can do it like this. Diagonally, the water will not flow through there. So we can do 9. Is it here anywhere shorter distance? I don't think so. So let's build it here. But we have a problem. They will not be able to get here. So we need anyways 10 blocks. But we can do it this way. Let's remove this one. And here we can build this without an issue. Each one of them costs 20 logs, which is quite expensive. But we don't really have, other choice. And we have 1 unemployed beaver. So let's turn back on one of the lumberjack flags to increase that production of logs. Okay, we have all the lodges, so they now not be complaining about not having a shelter. They will be fine. And we are still working 20 hours a day. It's really necessary, trust me. Now I prioritized to building these water tanks. And then let's use high priority on this. We don't need to really do that, but I like to prioritize my buildings. If I put down now anything else, it will be on a normal priority, so they will still prioritize building this dam. And we are at well-being 4. Nice. That means our beavers are being more happier and happier. There are some bonuses from that, but you can export that on your own when you click on a beaver. There are plenty of buffs that they can get. Okay, we are building our dam. This will take some time. Maybe it will not be done before the first drought will hit us, but at least we started. And we have 1 unemployed. Let's open another lumberjack flag. So currently we have 4 lumberjacks working, and they are already chopping down even these dead trees up here. But we must not to use all of our logs. We will need those for making planks and building a forest for growing more trees. But if you keep some of the trees alive like this, you see, they will be spreading around a little bit. But it takes a longer time and it is not that efficient as if you planted them with a forester. So now let's wait for them to build the dam. Let's speed it up a little bit. And look at that, our dam is almost finished. We just need 1 more block to be done. And maybe we can add even the last here. So we can get on the other side and we gain an access to these blueberry bushes here and to oaks and other trees. That's brilliant. Now, what we need to do is to start growing our own trees as soon as possible. We have 109 signs, that's why we build this in winter. So we can unlock a forester for 30 signs. But as you can see, to build a forester we need logs, but we need 7 planks too. So we first need a lumber mill. Let's build it here on this not irrigated land. That's 15 logs. It takes 1 beaver, I think, yes. But we need power for it. We have 2 options. Either you can build it closer to the water and connect it to a water wheel, or you can build it somewhere here further away and build a power wheel next to it. But you will need 2 beavers to run 1 lumber mill, because 1 beaver will be working in the lumber mill and 1 will be powering it through the power wheel. Both have their advantages and disadvantages. Generally, it's better if you just have water wheels. But throughout the drought, you can't use this power, because there will be no water, obviously. But this is done. We can pause, let's say, these 2 lumberjacks. And we have 3 builders. Let's remove 1. So we have 2 beavers now working in a lumber mill and a power wheel. So that will be done, but first I want to build 1 medium warehouse. Let's have it closer to the houses, even like here. And we will have this for carrots. That way we will be able to store more food, and we can even expand this field a little bit to grow more. It's better to have a bigger storage for water and food if it happens that all these dry out and you are not able to pump water or grow food throughout the drought or a bad tide. And there will be 2 things that can happen: drought and a bad tide, what I already mentioned a minute ago. With droughts, the water will just stop flowing. That's self-explanatory, easy. And the bad tides, this bad water, like you see here, that's contaminating land, and it will kill everything it touches, including your beavers. They will become sick, contaminated, and they will eventually die, I think. And they will not be able to work or anything. So, when the bad tide happens, it will happen through these water sources, just like regular water, but this one will be poisoning everything. So you need to find a way how to, push that water away For that, we will need to research the floodgates. But that costs 150 science, sorry. 150 science. So we will be gathering that. And then we can build that floodgates like here. Remove these blockages. And build another floodgate somewhere here. And then we can close these floodgates and open these when the bad tide happens. And release all that bad water outside. But for the first weather change or event or whatever to call it, like that, the bad tide will not happen on easy and medium. And I don't think even it will happen on hard. And look at that, we have one beaver with broken teeth. So we need to build him a grindstone. So let's do that right away. You can find that out under well-being and teeth grindstone. And we have a beaver that have nothing to do in range. Yeah, those are our lumberjacks. Do we have planks? We have 13 planks. Okay. So, since this is already kind of nice foresty area, let's build our forester right here, next to our lumberjacks. And unpause these two lumberjacks. They can keep chopping down these trees that we have here. And you have a bunch of trees to choose from. Birch, pine, chestnut, maple and oak. For growing just for the wood, the oak is the best, but it takes 30 days to grow. So maybe in the beginning you don't want to wait 30 days, or maybe you don't have a 30 days because the drought will happen and you can't hold enough water here and it is a long drought and the trees will die out. Whatever. You can experiment with that. But for instance, you see birch trees, 7 days, 1 logs. Not really that useful. It's better to go already to the pine trees, and they take 12 days and they yield 2 logs. So let's have a nice pine tree forest here, like this. That's what I tend to do. Let's have a half of the pine trees and let's have the rest oaks. You can do this right away or later, it doesn't matter. Let's leave this path here because we will need to be able to get there to build that floodgates that I mentioned. We will rebuild that road when they will chop down those trees. And our forester now will start planting all those trees that we set it up. And there are a bunch of other trees. Oh, drought is approaching, you see, in 3 days. But we are already prepared for that. Back to the trees. Here are chestnut trees, maple trees. We will be using those for making more food because chestnut trees, we can grill the chestnuts and have food from that. And from maple trees, we will have a maple syrup and we will be making maple pastries. But that's way too later. For now, we need just trees for the wood, nothing else. And for the food, we are still good with the carrots. We are even holding some. We can grow more, but we expanded already our farm, so we should be okay. You know what? I always want to have more water storage, so let's add 4 more. These are not very efficient, but we are very early in the game, and we don't really have any other option. So let's build more small tanks. And don't forget about the bad tides, and start preparing for them as soon as possible. We have 173 science. Let's unlock the floodgates. We don't need to do floodgates like this. Maybe it's not an overkill. There are plenty of water sources here. But I think we should be alright with like 5 of them. Even if I would like to do this. But it's quite expensive. You know what? Let's do 5. No, go 6 like this. And then when we unlock the levees, we will build levees on the both sides to block it. Otherwise, this will not work. And we will need a way to get to them. So either we can build staircase down, which is fine if they are touching only the water, or we can build the platforms and they will not touch the water while building it. Anyways, we need a way to get to them. And we have 1 unemployed beaver. And we are not producing science quite quickly enough. Let's add another inventor. Look at our lovely forest. It is growing. This will bring us a lot of logs that we can use. Right now we are out of logs, but we have still some dead trees here. So expand this road, build the lumberjacks. As I mentioned before, they don't cost any resources, and we can even chop down trees here on the other side of the river. We just need to mark those trees for cutting down, and that's it. And since we don't have enough beavers, let's pause these two lumberjacks here. And the drought started, and it is only for 2 days. But since we already built this, dam here, we can hold a little bit of water here. And let's even pause the pumping water. Because if this dried out, our trees will not grow and they will start drying out. But they will survive. They will last quite a long without the water. And for the crops, they will last just a couple of days, maybe not even a day without the water, and they will die out. So let's just keep water here. We have almost 170 water stored in our tanks, so we should be fine even without pumping water. And we have that second inventor, but no one is working there. So again, these two top lumberjacks, pause them 1 more day, and we can even lower the working hours. They will be a little bit more happier. Let's go back to 16 hours. That's default. 16 hours is enough usually. Okay, our lumberjacks are full of wood. They have nowhere to store it. So you know what? Let's add a large pile. Even here next to the farm. We don't really have any better spot. And set it up for holding logs. And when they have nothing better to do and their storage is full, the lumberjacks, they will start delivering their logs to the closest pile. You see, they're already delivering those logs. And again, we have 1 unemployed. Let's add another inventor. And if we need those beavers that are already working here, we can lower the workplace priority to 1 lower than it is like everything else. And if they are needed like here in a pump, I can unpause it, and now suddenly we have a worker here in a pump, even if we were at 0 beavers available, because they will go from somewhere else. We can turn on even the second pump. As you see now, no one is working these 2 inventors because they went here to the water pumps. You can even set these workplaces to like a highest priority, as I usually do with my pumps, so they always have beavers working in them, because they are really critical to have and to be able to work. And we have 130 science. Let's unlock the stairs so we can start building these floodgates. And we need another 120 to unlock the levees. So let's wait for 120 science. And we can even pause this gather flank, as folktales don't really need berries. They are not really required. The other food is more preferred. I think they don't even have anything like here in the well-being from the berries. No. The berries are very important for the iron teeth, because iron teeth is growing their offspring in like a vats or breeding pods, and they require blueberries. Without them, they can't grow their population. But folktales, they reproduce naturally. They don't need anything like that. And you can see we are already building our floodgates. That will take some time, as it takes a bunch of planks and logs. And let's lower it to 0 so it is not impeding the water flow. And floodgates are superior to this dam. So later we will be replacing the dam with the floodgates, or adding another like somewhere here floodgates. Because with the floodgates we can increase the gates even to 1-0 and hold much more water than these. These are at half, I think, so 0.5. No more. I already unlocked the levees and put them here on the sides to our floodgates. And then we will build these 4 floodgates, and I set up to destroy this blockage here. Maybe it's not the best idea to do it from down here, as they can get contaminated. So maybe let's build the floodgates first, and we can get here later. We can get there like this with the staircase. And we can unlock the platform as we have enough science and build some platforms there. I like using platforms. They're very useful. Maybe there was a cheaper option, but whatever. Ah, you see, our pine trees are growing up. So we can... Let's pause these lumberjacks. And unpause these two here. These are anyways much closer. Much better positioned. And they will start chopping down those trees. And our secondary floodgates are being built. Perfect. And the last phase will be to remove these blockages. Floodgates are built. They are now going to build those platforms without touching the bad water and remove these blockages. Hopefully they can reach them from the platforms. Yes, they can. And another drought is approaching. But we are already prepared for the Badtide if it happens. But we can't be 100% sure that these 4 floodgates will take all the water flow out. But that remains to be seen when the Badtide will happen. So let's just wait and jump straight to there. But first, I've seen that we had injured beaver, so maybe add a medical bed. He's not injured anymore, but anyways. Having a medical bed is a good idea. Alright enough, let's wait until the Badtide will happen. And the Badtide started. I cheated it in because it took forever. You see, we are in a cycle 6. So what we need to do now, because the Badtide will start going from here, you see? Oh, that red bad pool water. We need to close these floodgates. So you click on them, make sure that it is set up to synchronize with the adjacent floodgates, and close them. You see, they are now closed. And these floodgates, you do the same, but open them. And now, let's speed this up. And this way, this area here will stay contamination free. And all the bad water should go out of the map through here. We got a little bit of flooding here, but that's normal. This teeny tiny contamination here is nothing. That doesn't matter. But you don't forget to remove the stairs or remove the road somewhere closer here. I mean, far away from the staircase. Because if they reach here and they want to go build something or whatever, to go on the other side, and they will go through that bad water, they will get contaminated and they will die. And they will not be helping build anything or whatever. I think they will stay living in your colony, eating and drinking water, but they can't do anything. And you see, the contamination is killing our trees now. But that's my bad. That's a bad design here. Maybe I should have put these floodgates much further away, somewhere here, whatever. But as a basic stuff, it's working. And you see, even it dissipated a little bit as the water flow is now fully going out. This is kind of constrained here, so it's not as ideal. But for the first Badtide, quite alright. So this is really like the how to survive the first Badtide. And let me show you the, well, Badtide and Drought. Let me show you the same with the Iron Teeth. I will not be boring you from all the basics, but let's jump and do the same with the Iron Teeth. With an Iron Teeth, we start the same map, same location. Everything will be the same. We need to set up pumps. These are slightly different, but only with the reach, how deep they can go. It's the same as with the folktales. You need to have some lumberjacks and set up the, or mark the cutting area for trees. But there is one big difference. You need blueberries, because you are not growing the population just with building houses and they reproduce there like a folktales. You need to build breeding pods. The Iron Teeth's preferred and only way to reproduce. Nutrients are brought by haulers, the unemployed, and the workers after work. Need nutrients, water, and berries. This is how they reproduce. One breeding pod is roughly for around 10 beavers without any well-being bonuses. So here, when you are starting as Iron Teeth, you need the same setup. You need the pumps, you need the lumberjack flags, build a farmhouse, and start growing some food, water storage. Let's running the industrial lumber mill and start making planks, but you don't need to build them any barracks. You will have a slight debuff, like here, -3, for the shelter, but they will survive and the population you can grow. So that's the only difference here with the folktale, between the folktales and Iron Teeth when you are starting. So that's it. So with folktales, you can get rid of the berries after you set up your first farm and never look back, but with the Iron Teeth, you need your farm and you need your blueberries. Without them, you can't grow and you will die out. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial and find it useful. Please let me know in the comments down below. Push that like button if you liked it and subscribe if you want to see more. Have a nice day and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.